Hello people, Seku-Senpai here. It's been like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I last streamed Umineko. And it's been a nice week, it's been a nice little break from the game. I've been playing this storyline, this whole visual novel for almost a year at this point in time. 2 to 6 hours every week, almost 52 weeks exactly. It was a nice little break right there. It's actually kind of funny because even though I was taking a break from the storyline and I had this whole script ready for it to record last week, it's like it was still in the back of my mind. It was like in my head still. It was like something was laughing at me, saying Umineko, or get back to, or something like that. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. Maybe I've been playing this game for too long. Maybe I'm going crazy playing this. Maybe that's what I'm actually losing my mind. I'm like Battler. I'm going crazy playing this game every single week. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. It could just be me. But anyways, I'm just want to say thank y'all for checking this out. For those who have been in the streams from back then, almost a year ago, sticking around still. We recently finished episode 6 the week before last, and going to be starting episode 7 this Thursday. So here's just a short video talking about some thoughts I have on, and maybe some theories as well as to some things I figured out. I mean, if you're watching this, then you already know stuff about Umineko, I'm assuming. If not, then heads up, spoiler alert for both Umineko, maybe Higurashi. I don't know. I think I mentioned something about Higurashi in here, but yeah. Anyways, I'm going to leave it up to voiceover me because I'm going to be reading this. So yeah. Anyways, take over, voiceover Seku. Voiceover Seku here, and first, I just want to thank everyone who's been checking out and joining me on my journey through Umineko. Whether you've been here from the start, maybe you came to the channel through Higurashi, you joined part way, checked it out here and there, or are a new viewer, I've had a blast streaming the series and chatting. Likewise, I can't express how interesting and well written the story of Umineko is. Each episode building on what the previous held, and the mysteries continue to get bigger, and depending on the individual, more complex, because like most mysteries, or at least when it comes to problem solving, for one person it can be easy, but for another person it could take more time, and or contemplating to get to an answer. So if you're like me and there are some things at this point in time that you didn't get yet in Umineko, you're not alone, as I'm sure there are a number of other people out there that may be on the same boat, and may piece stuff together eventually. And if there's anyone who has a problem with it, who cares? I'm in no rush, and hopefully neither should you, as I'm sure when you were out there playing the game, there wasn't anyone breathing on your neck telling you what you should or shouldn't know, unless you got wishes behind you. However, on the flip side, I do understand that there are a few things to briefly know, or at least have a grasp of understanding or theorizing to get some aspects of the final episodes. Hence the main purpose of this video, which I firstly want to discuss is the culprit, or the main person behind the whole murder incident on Rokkenjima. Now throughout the episodes, if you watch the streams, then you know that here and there I've mentioned my theories regarding the culprit, or at least narrowing down the list of suspects. And one thing I remember someone mentioning in episode 1 is to pay attention to those who have died in the first Twilights. Which I wasn't sure why at the time that was important, but as I was looking at my list, when compared to the Ushiromiya family, the servants are fortunate enough to not die in the first Twilight. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Nanju hasn't died at all in the first Twilight as I was looking at it. I just thought that was funny. With the exception of episode 3 where all of them die in the first Twilight. But what really got me thinking down the line were 4 things. Lambda Delta saying in red that the killer was in the chapel in episode 2, thus narrowing down my list to those in the chapel, both alive and dead. Erica theorizing that the culprit had to be a servant in episode 6. The list of people who have been mentioned to not be the culprit in red throughout the episodes. And fourthly, when referring to the real names of both Shannon and Cannon. Which the last one is what got me thinking and bring me to the conclusion that the culprit is Goda. Who else could pull off the Beatrice cosplay to fool off Maria? Okay, jokes aside, I came to the conclusion that it is Shannon, or shall I say, Sayo. It's actually kind of funny because when I was looking at my notes on episode 2, which is my favorite episode, I was writing a lot of notes regarding Shannon. I'm not sure what my mindset was at the time, since I think that was around November or December last year when I was playing episode 2, but something about Shannon had me suspicious. As for how she went about the murders and every locker room situation, I'll leave that for future me to deal with, and maybe explain in the future video how I figured out such. But I am sure that there were accomplices to most murders for each Twilight, most likely orders given to them by Sayo, especially when it comes to identifying who is truly in a location, or given that both she and Canon have other names. As for other mysteries like Battler's Sin, here's my thoughts on such. Okay, jokes aside, I do have some thoughts on it, since honestly, until someone commented on it in a stream, I kind of forgot about it low-key. Like, it was on my mind, but with other mysteries being thrown at you throughout the story, and twists popping up on screen, trying to take in one thing after another, I kinda lost track. But as mentioned in the story, Battler made a promise to Beatrice in the past, one that he doesn't remember making 6 years ago, hence the result being the murders on the island, if I'm not mistaken. During Shannon and Canon's duel, which may I add is interesting that Warara is used by, did I pronounce that right? I hope I pronounced that right. But Canon says that in the end, something that someone pointed out during a stream. I think that's interesting. I'll probably get back to that in another stream or something down the line with this, which I'm pretty sure is really important. Anyways, let me continue with this. Anywho, Battler made a promise, and in this flashback after the duel, that entire monologue had me thinking. The speaker, is giving their love for Battler to Beatrice, and since he likes blonde hair, blue eyes, and a certain personality, or specific personality, like something like Jessica, tomboyish, I guess, Beatrice must change themselves for him. They can't love him no more, and I'm assuming it's because the I can't change themselves and they received some form of unrequited love. Basically, they are making Beatrice the perfect woman for Battler's affection. But the next lines, "You will no longer be me, then I alone will try to find happiness." That right there got me thinking that if Shannon is the killer, aka Beatrice, then that would mean that Battler made some promise to her, some form of unrequited love or something. He forgot it, surely him not attending the Ushiromiya family conferences for 6 years, and created the Beatrice persona to fit Battler's tastes? Shannon, that is? Okay, that's, yeah. Anyways, considering that again, there are characters that refer to others with specific titles or names, it would make sense that Shannon or Sayo would separate themselves with the name Beatrice, which would be them essentially. I think I worded that kind of weird. I'm reading this as I'm recording, and I actually kind of worded that kind of crazy. But hopefully you get what I mean, maybe? I'm trying to understand what I mean. But I'm sure it makes sense in another version. The next line, "The two of us will split apart, a single soul and share it." That kind of supports or sums up my thought that I previously said, basically. Another thing that keeps coming to mind is also Natsuhi and that baby that fell off the cliff with the servant 19 years ago, which if again Shannon or Sayo is the culprit, would that make her the person on the phone, aka the baby that fell? Hopefully I'm not overthinking things or underthinking things. I'm not too sure. Okay, anyways, especially since Shannon is 16 years old. But see, this is where I'm kind of lost. Since Shannon is 16 years old, and that was 19 years ago, I don't know. I don't know what's also going to pop up in these upcoming episodes with episodes 7 and 8, which may add some things to this, maybe. I'm not sure, but I mean, the story's not over yet, so I guess some things will just take some time to get a conclusion on. I don't know. Anyways, related to falling off a cliff is the flashback with Rosa meeting Beatrice a while back, and she falling to her death too. I'm not sure if there's a connection there with the whole Nazi baby cliff thing, or if I'm forgetting anything, especially with Kinzo's wild self. From that, I do remember the younger Beatrice. As for where she came from, if I recollect, Kinzo did have a mistress in the past, aka the original Beatrice, I think. And if they did have a child, maybe it's her? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's something I'm missing there, or maybe I'm forgetting something, or maybe I'm close to connecting some things. But I'm pretty sure there's probably a connection with that and Shannon or something else. Yeah, anyways, the last two things I wanted to mention, or at least talk about, were Battler's insane locked room and the logic error, and Erika's final words in the episode. For the locked room, we talked a bit about it during the streams, but I kind of mentioned my solution to it. briefly, but to elaborate on it, since so much is happening between the story unfolding in front of you on screen, processing the information that just happened, and then chatting with a live audience that's questioning you about something that just happened, I believe it comes down to the tape. Yes, the tape. I know some people were mentioning that. I kind of mentioned it, but I think I explained myself really terribly during the stream. So basically, since the tape is on the chain, basically connecting it to the other part that was broken on the locked end, then simply removing the tape, leaving the room, then retaping it is what my mind process was on it. I'm not sure if I'm going to add like a visual thing on screen to make sense of my thought process, since I'm a very visual person. And that kind of makes sense, because since the locked part would still be on the lock when leaving the room, you're not breaking any of the rules, I think, unless there's something else in red I'm missing. But that's as far as I got when thinking about it. As for Erica's last sentence, which had me and probably many others who were going through this the first time just staring at screen trying to process what happened. But to reiterate, for my understanding, even with Erica as the 18th person or 18th human on the island, there are still 18 people at the end of the day, meaning Okay, let's take this one step at a time. So there are 17 people on this island, including Erica. Before then, we cut it down to 17 people initially, because it turns out that Kinzo was dead. But with this being said, then that would mean that there were 16, and then with Erica added, that makes it 17. Because she would still be an 18th guest. I think I might have worded that weird again, but I think that it makes sense in my head, explaining it wise. So what does that mean exactly? That means that someone here isn't here, or... Okay, I'm going to pause on that thought for a bit and think about it later. I'm going to keep it in mind, but all this thinking is going to give me a headache. Pretty sure that also connects probably to Shannon maybe, or Sayo and something else. I don't know if maybe other episodes will open up on this. Episode 7 or 8 will open up some more train of thought on this. But anyways, that's it for this video. I'm not sure how long or short it'll be, but I hope you enjoyed it. As a quick update regarding some of my thoughts on Umineko. If it seems like during streams I'm not thinking about the mysteries of the game, or it seems like I don't care, which is completely false, I do care. I mean, I'm going 6 episodes in, about to start episode 7 soon. Imagine going 6 episodes into the storyline for almost a year, and then I drop it, or I may not care. Like, what? Okay, I for one just take my time with some aspects and get to it when I have the time to it, since outside of this fictional storyline, I have more important things to take care of. I got an actual job outside of YouTube that I have, and I have no idea how I time manage my self with everything, but hey, it works out at the end of the day, right? Then with streaming as well, it's been kind of stressful with some things, but I'm hanging in there. Anyways, that's it. I'll hit y'all with another update in the future, maybe, to talk about some other thoughts I have on some other situations, locked rooms maybe, and something. Here and there I think about them, but like I said before, I get to it when I get to it. Usually I get like an energy boost when it comes to Umineko, where I'll just be like, let me think about this stuff and write down some theories and make a list and whatnot. But speaking of which, actually, I'll be getting back to Zero Escape this week as well. Instead of live streaming it, I'm actually going to do a pre-recording of it, of just a playthrough, because looking back on it, it's like, it's kind of jarring with the whole stream of it, with me just kind of just walking around. Walking around and stuff, when literally that could be summed up in like half an hour, with edits and whatnot. Plus, streaming on Fridays just isn't working for me currently. I'm just getting busy again. Life has been busy with me. It's been a pretty stressful past few weeks, honestly. But, likewise, if anyone wants to instead see me do pre-recordings of Umineko as well, let me know. I'd be down to do that, rather than streaming it. I'm cool with either or. If I were to pre-record it, if anything, I'd probably have more uploads with it, because I'd probably just record it all in like a single day maybe, and then upload it throughout the week, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could also stream it that way, but then streaming gives off different energy, man. Streaming is different from recording a video. Like, that's different energy. But then again, I also like communicating with a live audience. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Would you rather see a pre-recordings of Umineko? I see a bunch of other people do it that way as well. So let me know if you guys see it that way, or if you want to keep up with the streams. I have a poll on the top right corner of the video. So let me know if you'd like to see it that way or something. I'm okay with either or. But yeah, anyways, I see y'all later for some more uploads. I may be back to streaming Umineko this week. Well, I guess I'll see. If I'm streaming it this week, then I'll be streaming it, depending on what we have on the poll. If not, then it'll be a recording. So, yeah. Either or, I'll be back with Umineko. If not this week, then next week for sure. Just finishing up some other stuff. Also, subscribe to the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel now. Well, it's been existing. I just never uploaded anything on there. But, yeah, start with some Elden Ring. So, feel free to subscribe. I'll be uploading some other games, that aren't like anime-wise or VNs based. I'll want to keep VNs and stuff on this channel because it's like in the anime theme and whatnot. So, or style like. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Thank you for tuning in for this. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Please don't spoil anything. Please. Anyways, that's all. Later.